Who's ready to travel to the wonderful world of Wizards of Waverly Place? With a whopping 7 critically acclaimed awards and millions of fans worldwide, Wizards of Waverly Place has been planted in our hearts and minds since we were all children. And if it wasn't, or if you've forgotten, I'm here to recap this beloved show to catch you up to speed. But first, let's jump into some of our characters. First of all, we have the members of the Russo family, starting with Alex the rebel, the troublemaker, and of course, our main character. We also have Justin, the goody two-shoes and eldest brother. Finally, we have Max, the dumbest of the lot and the comedic relief of the trio. Their parents consist of Jerry, the winner of his own family wizarding competition, but the man who ended up giving up his magic so that he could happily fall in love with Teresa and have his own family. And we have Teresa, a fun-loving and heartfelt mother who loves her kids and family deeply. And we can't forget about Harper, an honorary member of the Russo clan, as she's in almost every episode, and basically lives with them as Alex's best friend. Some other characters that will be good to know are Professor Crumbs, the ruler of the Wiztech school, and arguably one of the most important wizards in the entire show. We've also got Mason, Alex's on and off again relationship, who also happens to be a werewolf. Justin has a similar thing going on with Juliet, who he too is absolutely infatuated with for the entire show, but she just so happens to be a vampire. And with introductions out of the way, let's get started with our first episode. It begins with us witnessing what it must be like learning how to do certain spells in the Russo family, with Justin being a tryhard.
Are there any questions about the spell? Ooh, 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 ooh! Oh!
Their father congratulating him, and Alex ignoring everyone until finding out about the huge sale going on, and subsequently begging her father to release her in order to attend. Oh, and Max is there, being Max. Because Alex is unable to attend the sale due to her father wanting her to be part of the family lessons, she decides to clone herself so that she can fool him and leave without anybody knowing. This inevitably backfires as she forgets to allow her clone to talk, leaving a sitting corpse to stay in her place. While Jerry went to go find Alex, Max just so happened to be given his wand for the very first time. Not having anyone to stop him, he decides to cast a bunch of silly spells on Alex's clone, unaware that she would succumb to his will in real life as well, not just her clone. Jerry successfully takes Alex back to their wizard lair, where he has a stern talking to with her about not using magic for selfish purposes, such as going to get revenge on some high school girl by stealing the coolest looking jacket at some stupid sale. Alex apologizes, but she doesn't get off that easy as she's grounded for 4 weeks. The episode ends with Jerry asking Alex to duplicate himself so that he can go dancing with her mother and watch the big game at the same time, signaling that their father-daughter relationship is still on good terms. Alex notices a boy at school using magic left and right, and instantly gets jealous as she isn't technically allowed to use magic outside of the house, or that much in general, as Jerry claims that it's too dangerous. Alex begs her father to allow her to use magic the way that TJ does, since his parents presumably allow him to act like this.
Aren't you gonna pay for those?
Oh, right!
Jerry is steadfast in his strong no, and essentially laughs in Alex's face when she brings up the idea in the first place. When Teresa hears word of another wizard family in town, she suggests a dinner so that she can meet the other family and compare notes. This thrills Alex because all she has to do is get TJ's parents to convince Jerry of allowing her to use her magic whenever she wants. But after asking TJ about the dinner at school, she learns that the only reason he's allowed to do everything that he's doing is because he learned how to charm his parents into turning a blind eye to his shenanigans. Alex is perplexed by this, but asks if his parents are free for dinner anyway, to which he waves his finger and proclaims that there is nothing on their schedule anymore since he essentially controls them. At the dinner, TJ gives the Russo parents the food that was used to control his parents, causing them to be easily swayed and essentially brain dead. Alex is able to use magic however she wants, but quickly realizes that she isn't quite sure that she wants to use magic recklessly, after Max is left for dead on Mars. While on Mars, Justin finds out that his parents weren't charmed with words. On the contrary, they were quite literally charmed by a spell. Frustrated with his sister, they all teleport back to their parents' house, expecting to have some sort of consequence for quite literally teleporting to Mars and leaving Max there. But they receive nonchalant responses from their parents, seemingly unfazed by the news that their son is missing.
Oh, isn't that nice? She put a spell on us.
Justin and Alex agree to split up, with Alex going to Mars to retrieve Max, and Justin staying on Earth and figuring out something to reverse the effects that TJ put on their parents. When Alex returns, she witnesses Justin giving their parents brownies. with the cocoa he put in them somehow possessing the cure. Alex immediately gets in trouble, but being yelled at brings her joy, as she knows her real parents are back. The episode ends with the Russo parents giving TJ's parents some brownies, allowing them to finally get upset with TJ and punish him for charming them into doing whatever he wanted. We're shown Alex's true colors in Alex's choice. Harper tells Alex that she's been invited by Gigi, the popular bully girl at school, to take part in a tea party. Alex instantly tells Harper that Gigi is clearly planning something horrible, but Harper doesn't believe Alex. In fact, she actually gets upset with Alex, thinking that she's just jealous that Harper is finally getting recognition in the school. Alex then overhears Gigi tell her other snobby friends that she plans on crowning Harper as the biggest loser at the tea party, that the whole party is just a who can bring the biggest loser contest. Because Harper already got upset with Alex for thinking that she was sabotaging her shot at having several more friends, Alex decides to just go with Harper to the party instead, planning on protecting her there. She does this by putting a spell on everyone there, causing them to say what they've really been thinking. When Harper is told what the party is actually for, she apologizes to Alex for not believing her. And Harper, along with all the other girls who dislike Gigi, sabotage her and end up putting the biggest loser crown on her instead of any of them.
We've received your plea for help. Do not move or leave the island. The hot lava sea will burn you up.
Meanwhile, Justin and Max get caught in a pickle involving the emergency wizards after some of their prank mail gets taken too seriously. In order to repent for their sins, they're ordered to community service, which just so happens to be pampering the two wizards who came to help. Justin is super excited to go to Wiztech, a summer boarding school for wizards wanting to hone in on their powers. He's especially happy to be getting away from Alex for a prolonged amount of time, but he's sadly mistaken whenever his parents end up enrolling Alex, thinking that it will give her some discipline and making her a better wizard in the long run. Once there, Alex is deemed the loser by everyone there due to her distaste for rules and becoming a textbook version of a good wizard.
Hey, who wants to have lunch with me?
Because of her unpopularity and having absolutely no fun at all, she tries to mail herself back home, but is found out by one of her and Justin's teachers, Dr. Evelini, who just so happens to favor Justin, even telling him that he seems to be the making of an actually good wizard, and she assumes that Alex is continuously up to no good. While scrubbing the floors during her punishment, Alex ends up listening to a messenger fish that Dr. Evelini was attempting to send it to her mother, finding out that the dean plans on draining all the power out of the most powerful wizard student in order to become even more powerful herself. Picking up right where we left off, the dean catches Alex listening to her messenger fish, and in order to save herself from the dean, Alex claims to love her plan of stealing all of Justin's powers, as it means she will be able to become the family wizard since Justin will no longer be in the competition. The dean strikes a deal with Alex. Later, Alex approaches Justin in the hopes to tell him all that she's found out about the dean, but Justin doesn't believe her, thinking that she's just trying to meddle with his happy life at Wiztech. Because he doesn't believe her, Alex decides to go to Lava Land, where the volcano that is capable of draining wizards of their powers lives.
How do I get to Volcano Land?
I can't tell you that.
Then why did you tell me to go there?
I didn't.
She grabs one of the information desk ladies and brings her to Wiztech so that someone other than her can explain to Justin that Dr. Evelini is evil. She tells Justin that not only does Dr. Evelini visit the volcano very often, but she also has season passes, allowing her to go even when other wizards cannot, leaving Justin to finally believe Alex about everything that she's been saying about Wiztech and their teacher. Justin approaches Dr. Evelini about the situation, telling her that he's quitting the competition that would have determined who the best wizard in school is. Unfortunately, this doesn't work, as she puts a no-quitting spell on him in retaliation, making it impossible for him not to play. Because of this, Justin ends up playing in the competition and winning. In order to save her brother, Alex casts a spell on Dr. Evelini, forcing her to speak out loud everything that she's thinking in her head. After saying all of her evil plans out loud, security is called on her, and Justin is safe. This happy ending leaves Alex and Justin having a newfound semi-sibling respect for one another. We're introduced to Jerry's crazy brother, Kelbo, in this next episode. He's shown to resemble Alex's overall mannerisms and outlook on magic in general, which greatly excites the kids, as he takes basically the complete opposite approach as their father. Alex takes such a liking to him that she decides that she'd rather have him as her teacher than her own father.
Sorry, Kelbo. We frown on random uses of magic.
Okay, let's talk about it.
Which doesn't blow over well with Jerry at all, causing a slight rift in their father-daughter relationship. Alex is at first happy with her new teacher, but quickly grows annoyed when she realizes that Kelbo doesn't really know what he's talking about in regards to most things, even though he's supposed to be the chosen family wizard. He ends up getting him and Alex in deep water. Literally. leaving Jerry to have to save them both. After their fiasco, Jerry and Teresa end up having a heart-to-heart with the children, telling them for the first time that Jerry was actually the sibling deemed the family wizard, but he gave it all up in order to marry Teresa, as the family wizard is not allowed to marry a mortal. Alex apologizes profusely to her father and asks him to teach her again after realizing that Kelbo doesn't actually know how to teach, and he gladly takes her back in. The episode ends with the family feeling more bonded than ever, with Uncle Kelbo sticking to the fun uncle role. Alex, Justin, and Max all get their report cards back from the wizardry board and are ordered to have them signed and sent back so that they know that their parents have signed them. Not wanting to get in trouble for failing her report card, Alex lies to everybody, telling them that she hasn't received hers yet. When her parents get too pushy about the subject, she turns them into hamsters. Even when Headmaster Crumbs enters the Russo household asking about her report card, she goes to lengths of lying even to him. When he finds out about her deception, he decides to take away her magical ability, clearly assuming that it's in the wrong hands.
Only a stupid person would think that my stupid thing was stupider than your stupid thing.
He holds a meeting with Alex and the other Russos, announcing that he plans on taking away Alex's powers forever. Right before Crumbs is about to do this, Justin turns him into a hamster as well. He then tells his parents and Alex that he can't stand the thought of Alex not having her powers anymore, especially because every time she messes up while using them, he's able to find a way to fix whatever she did wrong, making him a much stronger wizard because of it. He then turns Crumbs back into a wizard, as it's impossible to keep the headmaster of wizardry as a rodent for very long. Justin bows down to him, allowing him to punish him in any way that he sees fit, knowing that what he did was not okay. The headmaster surprises them all, though, when he informs them that he heard what Justin said about Alex while he was a hamster, and has decided to give Alex her powers back. If having his sister around helps them both grow as wizards, then there isn't point in taking that away from them. The episode ends with the headmaster leaving and the oldest Russo siblings hugging it out, happy that they always have each other in the end. Alex and Teresa have mother drama bonding time, while arguing about Alex's quinceanera. Alex doesn't actually want a party, but Teresa insists, telling Alex that it's an honor to be able to have a good quince party, and that she should be happy. Alex takes all of what her mother tells her and emphasizes her stance on Teresa having the party for herself, not asking Alex what she wants. It's only until after Alex's grandmother comes to town that she learns that Teresa never was able to have her quince, even though she desperately wanted one.
It looks more like you're trying to get gum off your shoe.
Because of learning of this fact, Alex decides to come up with a plan to have her mother enjoy the quince instead of her, since she doesn't care that much about the dance herself. In order to do this, Alex ends up using a spell to swap bodies with her mother, successfully allowing her to live out the night of her dreams. Eventually, the two switch back, leaving Teresa to thank Alex for everything that she did for her. Also, Alex switched back just in time for the father-daughter dance, allowing for her to not only get closer with her mother, but her father as well. Season 2 starts off strong with Werewolf, which begins with Justin telling Alex that he is yet another date from the online wizard dating site Wizface, which according to Alex hasn't gone very well for him in the past. The last time he went on a date, the girl ended up being a centaur. Anyway, his new date, Isabella, ends up looking normal.
Is Justin here? Oh, well, you're cute. Boo.
Until Alex asks her to hand her her jacket, and she ends up playing tug-of-war with it, implying that she too is somewhat of a strange magical creature. Eventually, Justin's parents find out that Isabella came from Wizface, and they have a stern talking to with him about how he needs to be much more careful about meeting up with strangers on the internet, warning him of the issues that can come with dating a complete stranger. Alex catches on to her being some sort of wolf hybrid because not only did she play tug-of-war with her jacket, but she also caught her drinking water out of a cup, much like how dogs do. Justin is caught up to speed after Alex confronts him about all of her dog activities. While he doesn't want to believe her at first, it becomes incredibly apparent after assessing their recent activities, such as going on a walk with her, and watching as she continuously chases after different objects such as cars, squirrels, and, well, even people. This fact is confirmed when Isabella, Justin, and Alex have a sit-down talk, and she confesses to Justin that she isn't a dog, she's a werewolf. Justin is fine with this at first, but then finds out that once he kisses a werewolf, he will become one as well. After transforming, Justin inadvertently asks Alex to tell his father, but she enjoys watching Justin fall apart after not listening to her and chooses not to tell his father anything.
I love having fur.
The two end up going to the park and get into a huge argument about her not putting that she's a werewolf on her Wizface page. The Russos end up searching for Justin in the park after presumably finding out about his situation. The episode ends with Justin and Isabella breaking up, and his father making a potion concoction to turn him back into a normal wizard. This two-part special begins with Professor Crumbs arriving at the Russo wizard lair to ask Jerry for a favor, while Crumbs attempts to get rid of all the plastic balls that have been planted in Wiztech for some reason. Now, why might plastic balls be an issue for Wiztech, you might ask? Apparently, plastic is one of the few substances that is completely impervious to magic, and negates it completely, causing none of the students to be able to practice or learn anything while it is there. While Crumbs is able to get rid of the balls, he asks Jerry if he can house several of the Wiztech students as they don't have anywhere else to go, to which he immediately says yes. Alex meets a cute boy that she's interested in named Ronald, which is awkward since she's technically dating a dude named Dean. Meanwhile, Justin goes to Wiztech and tries to figure out the plastic ball situation, but ends up running into the person who was responsible for cursing it in the first place. He finds that the culprit happens to be Ronald's father. Justin goes back to the deli to confront Ronald, but Ronald confesses that he knew his father was evil, he just doesn't like telling people because it makes them treat him really poorly. Alex gets upset with Justin for confronting Ronald so rudely, and decides to take him somewhere else to eat. Ronald assumes that it's a date, but Alex tells him that she's actually already has a boyfriend. Ronald then proceeds to attempt to win Alex over, which is surprisingly effective, as her current boyfriend Dean doesn't treat her very well in the slightest.
Hey, you're okay, Ronald. But let me know if you see that other Ronald. That guy's in big trouble.
Eventually, Dean finds out about Ronald and breaks up with Alex. But it's quickly shown that Ronald trapped Dean and then shapeshifted into Dean, meaning Ronald broke up with Alex as Dean so that he could have her all to himself. Drama. He then takes Alex on a date and offers to bring her back to Wiztech with him so that they don't have to separate, to which she agrees. The episode concludes with Justin ending up fixing the plastic ball problem, which really wasn't that hard. Crum was just being very dumb. Starting off where we left off, with Alex attending Wiztech along with Justin and Max, all are seemingly happy after the school got reopened. Ronald is then seen meddling with his father, telling him that he'd like for them to restore their family's evil powers and turn Wiztech into their own school for evil wizards. For some reason, Crumbs allowed Ronald's evil father to sell WizWorld merch inside of the school.
You have this in blue?
I'll have to look in the supply closet.
Justin confronts Professor Crumbs about this when he hears from Mac that apparently Alex went up to the Tower of Evil with Ronald after he persuaded her. Apparently, if she plays tetherball with Ronald, she will also become evil, allowing them to have enough magical ability to take over the school. Gotta give them points for creativity. Ronald eventually gets Alex to play tetherball with him, which proved to be somewhat difficult as she didn't want to do it at all. Justin and Max don't make it in time though, as when they arrive, Alex and Ronald are already playing, causing the tetherball to glow an ominous green color. Alex and Ronald turn officially evil, which is shown by their new appearance. Professor Crumbs gets to the top of the evil tower, but is also too late. All he does is hand Alex a gift that Dean made her before he was trapped in Jello. Alex questions why Dean would break up with her after giving her such a cute gift, which is when Ronald finally reveals to her that he was the one to break up with her, pretending to be Dean. Professor Crumbs tells the duo that if either Alex or Ronald are in love, then the evil spell cast from the tetherball doesn't count. And after finding out that Dean didn't break her heart and actually came up with a super cute gift idea, Alex confesses to Crumbs that she is in fact in love with Dean. Ronald's dad then brings Dean up to the evil tower, still encased in his jelly prison. Alex and the others catch Ronald finally leaving Wiztech to finally be free of evil. Maybe they should just get rid of the evil tower. But, that's just a thought. The episode ends with Alex and Dean having a lovey moment after she finally frees him from the jelly prison, with him giving her his made gift for real this time. Things get heated in this next episode, as Harper is tired of Alex always being sketchy and seemingly lying straight through her teeth. It starts with Harper wanting Alex to go to PopCon with her, which is a Wizards of Waverly Place version of Comic-Con. But Alex refuses, as those places are only ever filled with nerds and lamos. Except Alex is inevitably forced to go on strict wizarding business in regards to her, Justin, and Max being summoned, almost like jury duty, to patrol the convention and make sure no rogue wizards begin to use their magic willy-nilly and expose their true powers. When Harper finds Alex there, she instantly becomes upset with her, as she told Harper multiple times that she couldn't go with her even though it was her birthday. Alex apologizes but tells Harper that she can't tell her the real reason why she's there, causing Harper to go off on her and leave her standing in the con by herself. Alex tells Justin that she wants to tell Harper about the fact that they're all wizards, but instead of allowing her to do that, they come up with a different plan instead, which involves Justin spraying Harper with silly string and Alex offering Harper a different costume from the one that she has on. Harper accepts the costume, but only because she's thinking it's coming from someone she has a crush on, not because Alex is giving it to her.
I'm Jeremy. From science.
Inevitably meaning that Alex's plan failed, as Harper still doesn't want to be friends. Giving Harper the costume proves to be a horrible idea though. Whenever she learns that the costume doesn't just look like an exact replica, it is an exact replica, causing Harper to fly into the air with the use of magic. Alex and her family end up making it seem like they were using a pulley system the entire time, and Harper thanks Alex for making her birthday magical. Alex apologizes to Harper, because while she may have forgiven Alex, she still doesn't know the whole truth. Alex then reveals to Harper that she's actually been a wizard this entire time, finally confessing to Harper why she's been flaky and weird for most of their friendship. The episode ends with Alex, along with her entire family, showing Harper their wizard lair, officially welcoming Harper in on their magical secret. The Russo siblings become aware of an author that appears to be writing down stories that the Russo family has gone through, which doesn't make any sense to them because the only human that the family has told any of their stories to is Harper. But she swears on her life that she doesn't know who the author is. Wanting to find out exactly who is writing stories about the family, the siblings decide to use a spell to locate and teleport to where the mysterious author is located. The siblings are confused when they teleport to an obvious older version of Harper. She explains to the Russos that in the future, everybody knows about wizards, because one of the Russo siblings exposed them to the world, presumably Max, and that the most powerful wizard in the world helped send her back to the time frame, as writing about wizards is much more fascinating when nobody knows that they exist. She also drops a hint at Alex's future relationship that she will have in Season 3 with Mason, but we'll get to that later as she doesn't go any further than mentioning his name. Eventually, Alex gets fed up with future Harper as she never gave her permission to write about her life, and ends up leaving her place and traveling back to the substation. Alex gets extremely upset with Harper in her timeline, knowing what she grows up to do, but quickly regrets this when it causes a huge rift in their relationship. She ends up giving Harper permission to write about her wizard adventures sometime in the future.
But I just want you to know that I read a book.
You read a book?
And apologizes profusely for getting upset with her in the first place. The episode ends with the Harper of her timeline and her future self seeing each other, which is technically not allowed, but Harper doesn't realize that it's her, so it's kind of fine. Future Harper gives regular Harper her hat, and they're both happy. This special crossover episode begins with Justin announcing to everyone that he's won a competition to be able to go stay on the SS Tipton and meet London. First, his parents are excited, but then they find that it's only for teenagers, leaving Alex and Max excited, until Alex is reminded that she's missed too many school assignments and must stay home to complete them. Alex easily gets around this though when she discovers that there's a school on board the boat. She then proceeds to bring her luggage from home and gets cozy in her new life on the boat. Alex takes it a step even further by bringing Harper on the boat as well. Apparently, she had Harper hiding in her suitcase at home in case they figured out a way for the coast to be clear. The Russos, along with Harper, get themselves in a pickle as Justin ends up lying to London about who he is in hopes to woo her, which doesn't go very well.
I have to go to the main deck to greet some poor family who had to win a contest to get on the boat, the Russos.
And Harper ends up taking Alex's classes for her so that she can pass, but that leaves Alex to be an unknown person on the ship, constantly lying to people about her real identity. All is found out towards the end. Well, everything except for Justin's identity, since London is, as we all know, pretty stupid. While this episode is titled Wizards on Deck with Hannah Montana, they don't end up meeting her in this episode as the crossover lasted through the Sweet Life on Deck and the Hannah Montana series. This special 40-minute episode launches a mini-series within the Wizards of Waverly Place universe titled Vampires. It begins with the Russos feeling competition when a new sandwich shop opens up next to theirs called Late Night Bites. Justin is sent over to the restaurant to check it out in order to scope out their competition. Once there, Justin gets distracted by Juliet, the daughter of one of the owners of the new sandwich shop. They instantly become infatuated with each other. Romeo and Juliet reference. As liking each other is most likely going to be forbidden as they're now competing sandwich shops. Whenever Justin makes it back to his family's shop and tells them about everything he saw at the opposing shop, Jerry comes to the conclusion that they must be vampires. Justin and Juliet confess to each other that they know about each other's true identities while going on a secret date, and they both are choosing to confront their families about their feelings for one another. While Juliet is successful in telling her parents, Justin ends up hesitating, as he's scared of how her parents are going to be upset with him. Unfortunately, Juliet's family shows up to the wizard's sub shop.
We've come to reclaim our daughter!
To confront Justin's family. The meeting doesn't go well, and the two become depressed over the idea that they'll never be able to actually be together, mimicking the real Romeo and Juliet. In hopes to make her brother feel better, Alex presents him with transforming sunglasses, so they can continue to date without anyone knowing, as they will see a completely different person. Unfortunately, his cover is quickly blown, and he ends up having to beg Juliet's parents for permission to date their daughter, and they eventually agree. Their next step is to get Justin's family on board, which takes some more convincing. But with the help of Alex, she reminds her parents of how good of a kid Justin is. That while he hasn't made the best relationship choices in the past, he seems to be extremely happy with Juliet. Jerry and Teresa inevitably allow Justin to date Juliet due to them wanting their son to be happy. Continuing on with the vampire theme, Justin and Juliet are getting used to each other's families, which basically just means that Juliet is changing everything about Alex's family, just as making them all eat healthy food. Alex is tired of it.
What is going on? doing?
A total aerobic workout. That's what's going on.
And decides to go over to her family's shop to ask them to get Juliet out of her house constantly. While they confess that they can't quite do much about Juliet's whereabouts, they do offer Alex a part-time position at their sandwich shop so that she doesn't have to spend as much time at her own sub-shop, allowing her to get away from Juliet. Alex ponders, but agrees in the end. Right after she agrees, she overhears Juliet's father say that sometimes vampires purposefully get humans or other creatures to eat better as it makes the blood better for sucking. Alex, horrified for her brother, runs home to alert him of the information that she just learned. Justin confronts Juliet about this and she denies it, as she genuinely wasn't going to suck his blood, but she's absolutely mortified when she learns that her parents hired Alex because they did actually want to suck on the Russo's blood. Juliet and Justin inform his parents and all rush over to comfort Juliet's parents, who were just trying to measure out Alex and Harper's neck veins. Creepy. The vampire parents end up apologizing to the Russos for almost turning Alex and Harper into vampires, and they make up for it by cooking them a huge dessert and dinner, leaving the episode with Juliet and Justin still hanging on to their forbidden relationship. Trouble in paradise ensues in this next episode, when Justin feels as though he and Juliet are moving too fast, but he doesn't know how to tell her that. Juliet ends up asking him if he'd like to go on a vacation with her and her family, and he tells her that he's going to ask his parents, and they will surely say yes. Justin asks his father, wholeheartedly thinking that Jury will say no, but he surprisingly says yes.
Sounds like fun. Juliet's a sweet girl.
Stop yelling at me, I get it!
That doesn't stop Justin from lying to Juliet anyway and telling her that his parents did in fact say no. Meanwhile, Alex has been going to Dean's dreams and making him do whatever she wants them to do, including having them go on cute dates so that she can continue to feel connected, and so that Dean will still be thinking of her even though they're long distance. Harper greatly disapproves of this and warns Alex of the consequences, but Alex doesn't believe Harper until Dean visits in real life and is nothing like his dream self, leaving Alex to feel incredibly distant from him and like a dummy, as she's been fooling herself thinking that Dean is a better man than he actually is. Meanwhile, all goes to hell when Juliet shows up at the sub shop looking for Justin. She runs into Jerry, who tells her that Justin is probably packing for his big trip, which greatly upsets Juliet, as she realizes that Jerry didn't tell Justin no. Justin said no himself, meaning that he lied to her and tried to blame it on his parents instead of actually just confessing how he's been feeling. This causes turmoil in their relationship as Juliet leaves the sub shop very angry. Back with Alex in her current situation, she and Harper end up coming up with a brilliant plan for Alex to look like a slob so that Dean will break up with her. Dean quickly realizes her scheme though and easily breaks up with her instead of trying to figure out what's wrong, which greatly upsets Alex, as she feels as though she's been caring about the relationship much more than he has. Alex ends up going into Dean's dreams one more time in order to get closure on why he didn't care much when they broke up, which is when he finally tells her that he acted like their breakup didn't hurt because it hurt him a lot, and the only way for him to get through it was acting as though it didn't. The two then hug and say goodbye to each other in their shared dreamscape, confessing to each other that while their relationship may have come to an end, they both will hold a special space in each other's hearts. The episode ends with Justin and Juliet making up, with Juliet confessing to Justin that she loves him after he flew to make amends with her. The last episode of our vampire miniseries consists of Zombie Prom, which turns out to be a bust when real zombies catch wind of it and actually show up.
Do I have any brains in my teeth?
Yes.
Cool.
A dance battle ensues, and the zombies leave. The episode concludes with Justin and Juliet dancing and being adorable. Horror strikes in the Russo household when Kelbo shows up and tells Jerry that there was some kind of issue with their family wizard test, and he along with their sister must retake it. Jerry is horrified at this news, as he has to confess to the children that he had a secret sister this whole time. He's never mentioned her, and they have no contact. But also he's worried because if they're unable to retake the family wizard test, then the magic in the Russo family could be lost forever.
Megan Brooke Russo, she lives in Paris.
Paris? She sounds German.
In order to protect the family line, the Russo siblings visit Jerry's sister in order to convince her to come back. But the only thing that gets her to step foot in Jerry's house is the promise that when she gets there, he'll be on his knees along with Kelbo, apologizing to her for ever giving their dumbest brother the family powers instead of her. Once back in the sub shop, it quickly becomes apparent that Jerry and Kelbo are not going to apologize, so she ends up just leaving. The Russo siblings don't know what to do, as she was their last hope. Alex pulls through by telling her brothers to just go with it, which essentially means that Alex is about to either finesse the situation to be in their favor, or she's about to lie through her teeth and get them all in more trouble than they're actually in. When the wizard shows up to take their power away, Alex emphasizes that she'd rather him take their powers away than lose Justin and Max as siblings, as she's seen how the wizarding competition has broken up families in the past, referencing her father's situation with his siblings. Her speech is so good that Justin and Max say as well that they'd rather have their powers taken away than lose each other. This brings a tear to the wizard's eye, as he's seen countless wizard families get torn apart by the thought of their magical powers being taken away. Their sibling speech hits his feelings so hard that he decides to just let the three keep their powers even though Jerry was unable to retest.
That That's against the rules. I don't know if you're allowed to...
Hey.
The siblings celebrate as they no longer have to say goodbye to that part of themselves. Now with an understanding that even though one day only one of them will be allowed to keep their powers, they will all remain close and work through these hard emotions together. Movie time! The Russo family goes on vacation in the Caribbean, much to Alex's dismay, as she was originally supposed to be staying with Harper but was forced to come along after acting recklessly with her magic. The kids are put on a no magic grounding, and their wands are taken away from them to ensure their punishment. During their vacation, they end up running into a street magician, Archie, who tells the siblings of a secret stone called the Stone of Dreams. Apparently, the stone grants its finder one wish that will be sure to happen. Archie brings it up since his girlfriend is currently a parrot and he'd like her to turn back into a human. Jerry warns the children of the tale's facade, explaining that while many wizards have gone to look for the magical stone, none have returned. Later on, Alex gets in a huge fight with Teresa and ends up wishing that her parents had never met. But she did so, while holding not only onto Jerry's full-fledged magical wand, but also the secret book of spells in which Justin was being allowed to study earlier in the movie. Because of the items, she ends up casting a spell that causes Teresa and Jerry to quite literally not know each other at all, which in turn causes them to not know their kids either. Not knowing what to do, the Russo kids consult Jerry and tell him a hypothetical situation involving their exact circumstance. Jerry explains to the kids that if their parents were to never have met, then the kids will soon disappear and cease to exist. Panicked, they ask how they could reverse such a thing, to which Jerry mentions the Stone of Dreams. The Russo siblings remembered the tale of the stone from Archie and decide to go on their own little adventure to go look for it. Meanwhile, Max is put in charge of attempting to get Jerry and Teresa back together in hopes that they would somehow trigger all the memories that they've had of each other. While that doesn't necessarily work since Jerry messed it up and spilled smoothie all over Teresa, Max begins to slowly but surely forget things about himself and the world around him. Frightened, he comes to Jerry asking for assistance, which doesn't end up being too helpful. As Jerry tells him that he should go to his parents with these kinds of things, Max tells Jerry that he's trying but it's hard and begs him for his help. He lets him know that his siblings really did go to find the Stone of Dreams, which worries Jerry as it's actually quite dangerous, and he never thought the kids would actually go and attempt to find it. He agrees to help Max, and the two begin working on a plan together. During their map searching, Teresa runs into them and asks if she can join since she loves looking for treasure. Eventually, the three cross paths with Justin and Alex, who are panicking, because right after they found the stone, Archie and his bird end up stealing it from them. When they run into Jerry and Teresa, they address them as Mom and Dad, which raises concerns. Teresa decides to leave as she feels as though she would never forget her own children, so they must be mistaken. This changes though whenever Max ends up disappearing completely due to the effects of the spell. The moment he was in grave danger, Teresa's heart sank, and she knew deep down that Max was her kid. Jerry, knowing the kids don't have much time left, finds that it seems as though one of them would be able to break the spell Alex cast, but only if they had the power possessed only by the family wizard. In a panic, Justin and Alex agree to begin their family wizard competition early, as it may be their only shot at survival.
The best wizards can do the most with the least.
Good, because that's pretty much all I got.
Meanwhile, Teresa bumps into Archie and what was his parrot girlfriend. The second she became human again, she decided to dump him, not only breaking his heart, but also telling him that he should work on getting a better magic act. Teresa confronts the two, and while asking for the stone, Archie uses it to turn the girl back into a parrot and happily gives the stone to Teresa as they have no use for it anymore. Alex ends up winning the family wizard competition, but her spell to reverse everything doesn't work. Panicked, Alex begins to cry to Jerry, but all her prayers are answered when Teresa comes running with the Stone of Dreams. And by using that, Alex is able to warp back to whenever everything went down, except this time, Teresa remembers her. The movie ends with Alex happily spending time with her family, ecstatic that they're actually there for her, never more grateful for the life that she has now. Season 3 begins with new trials and tribulations with the Russo family. Justin is congratulated by the Wizard Committee as he's officially mastered 5,000 spells and can now move on with individual studies rather than the general studies that he's been participating in thus far. Justin ends up choosing monster hunting as his individual study, which Jerry is super enthusiastic about, even though he's actually super worried about Justin's safety. Meanwhile, Alex is upset because when she asked how many spells she's officially mastered, it was revealed that while Justin has completed 5,000, she's memorized 100. In order to catch up with her brothers, so that she still has somewhat of a shot at the family wizard competition, she begins actually studying for the first time. This shocks everyone, as Alex has never been one to study, but if it means her shot at the competition, she's willing to put in the effort.
Who the heck are you? I'm your conscience.
Her book sesh is interrupted by Max whenever he approaches her with horrific news. Max decided it would be a good idea to unleash every single monster from Justin's monster book into New York City in order to distract Justin enough for Max to be able to catch up in his wizard abilities. Alex, shocked and disappointed in her brother, orders him to come along with her, while she goes down to the subway station where Justin currently is in order to save him from getting pummeled by monsters. Alex is only able to help him by using the spells that she had learned that day, successfully saving her brother and proving that she has the potential to be just as capable as he is when it comes to magic. The eldest Russo siblings bond a mutual understanding, while looking down on Max, who is still arguing with his in-real-life consciousness.
Oh, you're like the son I don't regret having.
Justin and Juliet hit a rough patch whenever Justin calls in 3 level 6 monsters to the monster committee, assuming that him, along with his parents, might be in danger. It's only after Alex reminds him that Juliet and her 2 parents just so happen to be generally powerful monsters that live on Waverly Place that Justin realizes he made a huge mistake. Alex, Harper, and Justin break the news to Juliet, and the 3 girls come up with a plan. Harper and Juliet switch outfits and scents so that Harper is able to be picked up by the monster hunters, assuming that no harm will be done to her as she is a human, thus giving them more time to figure out what to do with Juliet and her parents.
Luxor, this is Dr. Ice. We're professional monster hunters.
In a makeshift way, Justin and Alex put together 3 different monsters in order to get the monster hunters off their back, but they only managed to come up with 2 monster options. Thankfully for Justin, the monster hunters take pity on him as they assume that he purposefully tried to capture 2 of the monsters before they got there. The episode ends with their plan semi-working, allowing for Justin and Juliet to remain safe in their secret relationship. Justin gets assigned a dangerous mission capturing a mummy that has been let loose in his museum. He's also informed that the reason he's being assigned such a dangerous task, and not a more advanced monster hunter, is because quite literally all the monster hunters have been captured due to Max letting all the monsters loose.
What's for?
Hey, 2 weirdos, get a cave.
Him, along with Juliet, go to scope things out, but end up being trapped inside a museum case. The 2 come up with different ideas regarding how they could get out, until Justin gives up and says that someone will find them in the morning, and they can just wait it out. Juliet objects to this, saying that she'll die if she's trapped in the sunlight that would be coming down on them from the apparent skylight. Also, that's kind of a plot hole. I mean, she's been walking around in the daytime in Season 2 multiple times, but now she's not allowed to anymore or she'll die? Kinda convenient. Anyway, moving on, while keeping that in mind, Justin asks Juliet to look into the mummy's eyes so that he can turn her into one of his servants and get her out of the case in time to escape the sun. While at first refusing, Juliet inevitably does this. Justin promises that when all is said and done, he will rescue her, and everything will be okay. Alex eventually finds out that Justin has been trapped and comes to his rescue. He confesses to Alex about asking Juliet to become one of the mummy's servants and how guilty he feels, as he wasn't able to thoroughly protect her. The episode ends with Alex comforting Justin while he cries into her arms about him potentially losing the one that he loves. While Justin is going through some things with having to find Juliet and, all that jazz, Alex busies herself with her newfound love interest, Mason. They meet in art class and quickly fall head over heels for each other, doing cute date things and throwing water balloons on innocent bystanders. It's Alex's favorite thing. While Alex may need to learn how to more politely comment on other people's artwork, she will continue to try her best in this new relationship.
We'll give you $10 for your stupid Yankee Poodle dandy.
Alex?
Meanwhile, Justin has been training, figuring out his best course of action in regards to how to get Juliet back. The episode ends with some brotherly love after Max reminds Justin that technically, Juliet being captured and taken was by the hands of the mummy that would have never been near them in the first place if Max hadn't unleashed the entire monster book into New York City. Personally, that's something I would never bring up if I were Max. It's your fault, dude. This special 50-minute special begins with us finding that while Mason might seem like the perfect boyfriend, he, for some reason, rushes out of the Russo household basically every night, claiming that he's late to something. This raises concerns for Alex as she becomes even more distraught when Harper brings up the possibility that he might be cheating on Alex with another girl. Harper and Alex come up with a plan for Harper to scope out Mason whenever he tries to leave next, which they do, only to find that he's actually a werewolf. They aren't fazed by this though, as they've seen much worse, leaving Mason to question them as well, as clearly they aren't new to these type of things. Alex explains that she belongs to a family of wizards, which relieves Mason as he doesn't have to hide around them anymore. Also, side note, Alex is totally in love with Mason as he gave her a heart necklace that is supposed to glow red when the person wearing it is in love with the one who gifted it, meaning she confessed her love for him without knowing even after he revealed that he was actually a werewolf.
Kid, tell him what you told me.
I've lost me mummy.
While hanging with the Russos, Mason becomes aware of Justin's search for Juliet and suggests that he may be of assistance, as he has a wonderful scent-finding ability. The Russo siblings, along with Mason, set out to find Juliet, and they inevitably turn up at where the mummy is located. They dismember the mummy, which proves to not be that difficult since all they have to do is unravel him like toilet paper. Once unraveled, they use his eyeballs as a key that open a locked door containing Juliet. Awkwardly enough, when she's free and lays eyes on Mason, the two rekindle, as apparently about 300 years ago, they used to date. And for some reason, instead of acting like normal people and moving on from that, Mason gets down on his knees and proclaims to Juliet that he'll never stop loving her, effectively breaking Alex's heart and no longer being accepted by Justin and Max since he hurt their sister so badly. Juliet apologizes to Mason, but inevitably chooses Justin, as he's the one that she's in love with now, leaving Mason behind. Not soon after, though, Mason shows up at the substation trying to apologize to Alex for what he said to Juliet, claiming that he was just in shock after not seeing her for so long. Alex doesn't forgive him, though, as she explains that while she's been in shock many times before, her shock has never led her to proclaim her love to someone that she wasn't actually in love with. Mason attempts to approach Alex again, this time getting further, as he suggests going back and retrieving the True Love necklace. If she puts it on him and it glows red, then he isn't lying about being in love with her. She reluctantly agrees, leaving Harper distraught, as she was supposed to be in charge of keeping the two apart while Alex heals from the heartbreak. Once there, they can't seem to find the necklace, and Justin, Juliet, and Max arrive after Max informs them of Mason taking Alex. Justin tries to take Alex away from Mason, but in his anger, he turns into the wolf version of himself, completely letting loose and attacking not only Justin, but Juliet too. While trying to protect Justin, Juliet bites Mason, which effectively turns him back into his human version and stops the fight. Two different problems arise for the couples now. Because Juliet bit Mason, he will now forever turn into a wolf, with him leaving Alex as he knows he will be too dangerous to deal with. And also because Mason scratched Juliet, she now loses her vampire abilities, which causes her to look just how old she is. 2,194 years old.
Wow. You are old.
Both couples separate, leaving Justin and Alex with just each other, yet again. Our next episode consists of Justin running for class president, with projections saying he's likely going to be able to win by a landslide, as the only other apparent candidate is Zeke, who happens to be making more and more appearances on the show. Unfortunately for Justin, though, he's summoned to detention after the principal's office was vandalized with a bunch of little posters of Justin's presidential campaign. Justin goes to detention, even though he's nothing to do with the vandalization, and notices Alex there as well, as per usual. While there, they meet Stevie for the first time, and she seems to be the ruler of the detention junkies, even standing up to Alex. Because of Justin's apparent vandalism, the other boys at detention take a liking to him and end up voting for him, granting him the winner of the election.
Your votes put me over the top. Thank you, Eddie and them. However,
the principal says that while Justin may have won the popular vote, he's not granted school president, as he vandalized the principal's office, not wanting Justin to lose his ability at presidency. Alex confesses that it was her, even though it wasn't, in order to clear Justin's name. All of a sudden, Stevie steps in and clears everything up, saying that she actually planted the posters in order to get Justin to win, as she wanted the second biggest troublemaker in the school to have more access around school grounds since her brother will be president. Alex takes a liking to Stevie, and a newfound friendship is born. We'll make this episode short, as it isn't really important to the plot at all. But Shakira has a cameo. Not only that, but Kelbo is revealed to be pretending to be Shakira. Okay. Tensions rise when Alex finds out that Stevie is a wizard just like her. She becomes more and more invested in her and Stevie's relationship, disregarding Harper and leaving her in the dust, claiming that she finally found somebody who actually gets her. So in hopes to make her feel a little better, Justin decides to turn himself into a somewhat Alex clone, successfully fooling Harper into thinking that Alex is actually spending time with her.
I'm Alex.
His plan backfires when the real Alex shows up and Harper realizes she wasn't with her the entire time. Justin confesses, and the two girls get in a heated argument as Harper says several offensive things to Alex, since she's let her pent-up frustrations for her drag on for too long. The two girls end up destroying school property due to their argument, causing much stress for Justin. Eventually, the principal shows up and gets upset with the girls, assuming that everything is Alex's fault, and takes her away. Harper objects, and tells him that it was actually all her, taking the blame for everything and trying to save Alex even after their horrible argument. Alex shows up to detention to make amends with Harper. The two girls apologize for hurting each other, and they also digest how Harper was feeling towards Stevie. Alex forgives Harper and explains that Harper isn't even Alex's friend at this point. She's more of a sister, bonding the two more than ever before they hug as the episode concludes. This next episode is an interesting one, as we learn that Stevie is actually evil. The plot begins with Stevie saying that she missed her brother and was going to go visit him. She didn't give the Russos any other information and then seemingly vanished. Alex, curious and wondering where her friend went, finds her brother, only to be told that he's been stuck in the power transformation room ever since Stevie lost their family wizard competition and ran away, leaving him to be trapped until she returns. On their way back to the Russos' magical wizard portal, we see a snippet of Stevie proclaiming to online followers that soon the revolution will begin.
Oh, I knew it! Stevie was using you for our lair so she could start a revolution!
When they reach Stevie, they discover that they're trapped outside. While talking to Stevie, Alex learns that she plans on allowing everyone to be able to keep their magical powers, breaking the law and order of wizardry. Alex feigns innocence to the point of being let into their wizard room and joining forces with Stevie, locking Justin and Harper out with a plastic brick wall, which we've learned in the past renders all magic use completely useless. Eventually, Alex and Stevie go back to the generator room where her brother is housed, which is where they plan on taking back the right to keep their magical abilities. Their plans are interrupted though when they find Justin and Harper there, as they didn't just plan on staying by the Russos' door forever. Suddenly, Alex freezes Stevie and transfers her powers over to her brother, correcting her wrongs and proving to her family and friends that all of this was a ruse. She didn't plan on actually helping with the revolution. Shocking news is dropped on Alex whenever she sees on the news that there's a family out in the country currently housing a dog that is painting beautiful pictures of a girl who she quickly realizes is herself. Wanting to find Mason and get him back, Alex, along with Justin and Max, go into the countryside to retrieve him.
I've missed you so much.
Meanwhile, Harper stays and watches over the sub shop while they go, since their parents are on vacation. But she's not alone, as Zeke is keeping her company. Harper is interested in Zeke, but he's a little slow and doesn't catch on to her advances in the slightest.
That was close.
The beginning of the end starts with the FBI showing up to the sub shop and taking in the Russo family, as they suspect their wizard magic usage and plan on running tests and experiments on them. Shockingly enough, after the FBI lies to Justin about them needing to know if his family is wizards due to an impending alien attack, he willingly gives up the information of them being wizards as he thinks that they'll be fighting for his country.
Son, Earth needs defending! Earth needs defending!
This situation proves to be the wrong time to be patriotic, as it turns out the FBI was completely lying through their teeth, and Justin was coincidentally the stupid one, being gullible enough to believe them. The Russo family manages to escape only to notice that they weren't the only ones locked up inside of the prison. They find Professor Crumbs and the other powerful wizards inside the cells as well. Whenever they're found out by the FBI for escaping, they decide to cast a duplication spell in order to get them off their tail, leaving them enough time to escape. Once out of the facility, Justin emphasizes his urge to go back and rescue the other wizards, but he's quickly shut down by the rest of the family, as it would be way too dangerous. The episode ends with Alex pointing out that the only way to save any of the wizards is to get the authorities involved, meaning they're gonna have to expose magic to the whole world. Following the whole FBI situation from the last episode, Alex decides to take a stand and tell the world about wizards, since she wants to rescue Crumbs and all the other magical folks that were trapped. Once she does this though, it's revealed that Crumbs made the whole situation up in order to test the Russo siblings on if they would actually expose magic or not when put under extreme circumstances. Since Alex told authorities, and Justin technically told the FBI agents while they were there, Crumb deems Alex and Justin unfit, and puts them behind Max by several levels in their training by demoting both Alex and Justin to level 1 in their wizarding studies.
I get a lawyer named Mr. Loser. What's your first name?
It's big time.
The episode ends with both of the older Russo siblings grappling with the idea that their idiot brother might actually have a chance of receiving the family magic if they aren't able to catch up in time for the family competition. Because of the events of the previous episode, this next one begins with the shocking news that Alex has decided to give up on the family wizard competition, as she's so far behind Max that there's no point in even trying. Plus, without the competition looming over her head, she can fall in love with Mason properly and begin thinking about a future together. While Alex fights for true love, Justin approaches the Magical Family Wizard Competition Committee to find out if there's anything he could do to catch back up in his ranks. He's assigned to help with some troubled Wiztech students, almost like a form of community service.
It's good seeing you, Helen.
You got the gig, kid. Give it a rest.
Which he quickly agrees to do, since he'd basically do anything to get his chance back at becoming the family wizard. Meanwhile, Alex and Mason get a love bomb dropped on them when they find out that humans and werewolves can't be together due to the statistic that werewolves will inevitably end up eating the humans every time. Alex decides to invite the magical high commission guy who's in charge of deciding her fate to a boat dinner that Max's new girlfriend invited him to in order to persuade him into letting them stay together. regardless of if Alex decides to become a wizard or not. While at first the two are in good graces, that quickly changes when Alex gets jealous of Max's unofficial girl swooning over Mason. In order to get the girl off of her back, Alex purposely upsets Mason to the point of him turning wolf and scaring her family into jumping off the boat. After seeing such a strange display of unlove from each other, the wizard in charge of deciding if the two could be together bans the relationship, ensuing if Alex stays a human. Because of this, the two are forced to break up for good, but they promise to try and remain friends. Alex and Mason's breakup doesn't last long though, as they get back together 2 episodes later in Journey to the Center of the Moon, whenever Alex realizes that Mason can't get her out of his head and she's bombarded with her ex. We all remember Dean, right? The one who's arguably horrible compared to Mason.
I hate Dean.
In this next episode, Alex finds out that in order for her to be able to jump back into the wizarding competition, she must first pass Justin's Wiztech class, thus making the two spend more time together. Meanwhile, Max decides to move the Family Wizard competition date up after being manipulated by a Wizard Society group that he just joined.
When you're this far ahead of your siblings, you're permitted to move up the Family Wizard competition to whatever date you want.
In the hopes to get the date moved back, Alex and Justin come up with a plan, but they're semi-unsuccessful, because while they were able to get Max to push the date back, they also happen to turn him into a girl. They name him Maxine, and he proceeds to be a girl for about 5 episodes. If Justin is capable of getting all of his delinquent Wiztech students to graduate, then he can rise back up in the ranks of their Family Wizard competition. This proves helpful to Alex as well, since she's able to rise up when she graduates from his program as well. An issue arises though whenever the hot girl, also known as Rosie, joins the class and is absolutely horrible at everything she does, making it impossible for the other wizards to stand a chance. Justin ends up falling head over heels for her, but is still able to kick her out of this group when he realizes that she's going to bring them all down. After being kicked out, Rosie approaches Alex about how she's been feeling and emphasizes how much Justin means to her. Because of this, Alex decides to cast a copycat spell on Rosie so that she'll be able to do all of the magic Alex can in order to graduate with the rest of the class. Things go haywire whenever Rosie's revealed to be incapable after completely messing up their chances. During her clumsiness, she's revealed to actually be an angel. While Justin is amazed and Alex is shocked, their instructor fails them all.
You all fail!
As they put on a horrible show, resulting in neither Alex nor Justin getting any closer to rising back in their family wizarding ranks. Rosie apologizes to Justin for lying to him about her true identity. Justin forgives her, and the two end up together even after everything that went wrong due to Rosie meddling in their lives. After hanging around the angels, Alex learns that while Rosie may seem like a good person, she's actually an angel of darkness that has been trying to track down Justin in order to also corrupt him and make him evil. Horrified, Alex tries to stop this from happening, but she's no use compared to Rosie's charm. To prove his evil ways, Justin goes as far as to break his own wand in half, fully committing to being evil with Rosie. Justin successfully gets transformed into an evil doer, but is threatened by more evil power-ups. It becomes known that while Rosie was trying to trick Justin, she was supposed to fake falling in love with him. However, it was real all along. Rosie tries to save Justin, but it's no use, as she's just not powerful enough to go up against the darkness that she was blindly following.
Are you crying? I thought you were an angel of darkness. You're starting to sound good.
It should also be noted that before Rosie was an angel of darkness, she was originally a guardian angel who just so happened to be corrupted to the dark side. Eventually, with the power of love, Rosie and Alex get Justin to turn the moral compass back to good, which successfully takes away his dark angel wings and turns Rosie's wings back to white, since she's freed as well. Justin ends up breaking up with Rosie due to her needing to go do bigger and better things for her life, such as being a good guardian angel. The episode ends with Justin and Alex hugging, yet again, there for each other when all odds seem to be against them. Professor Crumbs decides to visit the Russos, which would normally be a great honor, but once they realize that Max is currently and has been Maxine, they begin to panic. Alex and Justin attempt to turn Max back before Crumbs can find out, but they end up messing up yet another spell, causing Crumbs to become a little boy. After being transformed and learning of the situation, Crumbs lets the Russo siblings know that he does in fact know a cure, but he's having so much fun as a little boy that he refuses to tell them what it is. Frustrated, Alex and Justin end up tricking Crumbs into telling them the secret, which allows them to make the potion to transform the two boys back. After drinking it, nothing happens, which greatly discourages Alex and Justin.
Max, drink this.
What is it?
Since when do you care what you drink?
Good point.
Until later that day when they witness Crumbs turn back, realizing that the spell just had a delayed reaction. After Max is transformed back into his original self, he tells Crumbs about what happened, but the siblings don't get into any trouble, as Crumbs is just happy to be back in his original skin. Zeke starts doing lame magic tricks, so Alex decides to spice things up by making his tricks come to life. This causes strife between her and Harper though, as Zeke thinks that he's an actual wizard, thinks that he can do almost anything.
Don't tell anyone else about this. We don't know how the rest of the world might react to someone as powerful as me.
Frustrated with Alex, Harper leaves everything up to her since she doesn't want it to become her problem. This backfires though, since Harper is horrible at keeping information to herself and she makes it obvious that something is wrong. Because of this, Zeke breaks up with Harper due to thinking that she's lying to him about something. Alex feels horrible about the situation, but refuses to tell Zeke anything since she's already gotten in trouble multiple times for exposing magic. In order to help Harper, not only with her romantic relationship but also in her relationship with Harper, Justin decides to freeze time and explain everything to Zeke himself, telling Zeke that he's been the one making his magic come true, and even going as far as to show him their wizard lair. The episode ends with Zeke and Harper making up, along with Alex and Harper, who are extremely grateful for Justin. This next episode begins with Mason telling Alex about a special werewolf celebration that's about to come up which involves his parents. Because Alex has never met his parents before, she asks if this could be the opportunity in which she does. But Mason makes it obvious that it would be an absolutely horrible idea. This confuses and hurts Alex, but Mason is steadfast in his response, claiming that of all days, the celebration would be the worst one for an introduction. Mason goes so far out of his way to not allow his parents to meet Alex that he even hires 2 people off the street to pretend to be his parents, which becomes obvious whenever Harper walks into the sub shop and sees Bill and Mary having lunch with Alex and Mason.
I was a fighter pilot in the Royal Navy.
Eventually, Alex is able to finally meet his parents, but it becomes apparent that his parents are under the assumption that Alex and Harper are also werewolves, and ask them why they haven't wolfed up yet. Alex is hurt as she knows that Mason lied to his parents about her, and is even more hurt whenever he asks her to use her magic to turn herself into a werewolf for the night in order to fit in. She obliges, but purposely makes a fool of herself in order to make Mason uncomfortable. Mason finally gets the hint and decides to tell his parents the truth, which at first goes well as they're happy that Mason's happy, but then they announce that they plan on eating Alex since there's no food left over for them after the hectic night that they all had. The episode ends with Mason throwing a chew toy in order to distract his parents while he and Alex run out of their house. Because of Alex's heroic acts involving her defeating the Angels of Darkness, Alex is presented with the Wizard of the Year award. At first, this doesn't bother Justin very much as he claims he was glad to be nominated, until he realizes that he not only wasn't nominated, but because Alex won the honors of such a pristine award, she's now placed back into her family's wizard competition. Alex ends up getting a lot of special attention from men after becoming the Wizard of the Year, particularly Chase, who happens to be a famous monster hunter.
Yeah, it's official.
What? Mason gets jealous of him as he constantly is trying to be around Alex, but he takes it too far. He notices Chase sitting by Alex during her banquet and goes totally wolf on his ass. Alex is able to break up the fight and is faced with an ultimatum given to her by Mason. Which boy will she choose, him or Chase? Alex chooses neither, as she wouldn't have chosen Chase to begin with, but she doesn't want to choose Mason anymore, as he wouldn't believe her when she told him that there wasn't anything going on between her and Chase. Not only that, but his frustrations previously in the episode led her to have to come to her most important banquet of her life all alone. The episode ends with Alex explaining to Mason that she believes they need to go on a break for a little while. Justin and Alex take his class of Wiztech students on a field trip to visit the palace where they will eventually take their test to be readmitted back into Wiztech. Alex convinces Justin to let them take the test sooner though, as she believes that they are ready.
Are you going to take the test? Yes or no? I have pudding to make.
When the kids get the results back, it turns out that not one, not two, but all of the students ended up failing the test. Alex is convinced that something was wrong with the brain scanners, but Professor Crumbs and Justin aren't so sure. Because Justin feels as though Alex pushed him to allow the students to retest before he personally thought they were ready, it causes strife between the siblings, as he assumes Alex convinced him only because she didn't want him to have a shot to be put back into the wizard competition. Alex, who wasn't doing anything of the sort, decides to go back to the testing room to check out the brain scanners herself. It's there that Alex finds that Justin's entire class did pass. She confronts the test master, who explains to Alex that he's tired of young wizards getting so much praise from Professor Crumbs. Meanwhile, he's been shut in the mud for years. To make sure that Alex doesn't run her mouth, he proceeds to trap her inside of a waterfall within the testing center walls. Justin and his class inevitably find Alex, but are no use against the testmaster as he takes away all the students' wands and begins turning Justin to stone. But alas, all hope is not lost, because Felix is able to pull the magical wand out of the wizard ball, which is basically the same feat as pulling Excalibur, seriously. Hearing that the wand got pulled, Professor Crumbs arrives at the scene only to find the chaos that has been taking place. Finding out that Justin's class passed, Crumbs allows Justin to also be awarded his right back into his family wizard competition. Alex and Harper move into their own apartment, which is super sweet and all, but it gets a little awkward when they find out that Mason is also living there. At the end of the episode, we learn that the floor manager actually happens to be the ruler of the Angels of Darkness. And even more horrifying is the episode ends with him leading Max down and away by giving him a flyer for a wizard camp.
Oh, make sure to tell your dad it's free.
Oh, he'll like that.
The evil angel, Gorog, is soon revealed to everyone on floor 13 whenever they're unable to leave their floor. He explains to them that he plans on recreating his evil army by using many different magical creatures rather than just using angels. The catch is that he's allowing everyone a chance to become part of his evil team except for the Russos, which he damns to be trapped on the 13th floor until they inevitably die. Thankfully, whenever Gorog leaves, they're able to send Harper to get help as she isn't actually a wizard, but was pretending to be one along with Alex so that she could continue living on their magical floor. In Mason's perspective, we see Gorog attempting to turn them all over to the evil side, but Professor Crumbs lets Mason know that in order to not succumb to Gorog's will, all he has to do is keep thinking about the ones that he loves. Professor Crumbs takes it a step further, and even convinces Gorog that he himself has been entranced by his evil, allowing them to feign compliance. Gorog explains to his evil group that he plans on digging a tunnel into the wizard portal so that he can infiltrate their world with his evil. Mason isn't able to stand up to Gorog for that long, as I guess not even the power of love is that powerful. He stands by while Gorog has Felix send a black hole to destroy Alex and Justin into the 13th floor. Professor Crumbs escapes Gorog's clutches by teleporting himself to the Russo's lair, where he finds Harper and Max at work trying to find a way to save Alex and Justin. Max comes up with what could possibly be his first smart idea ever, and Crumbs actually obliges with him going into the black hole himself and rescuing his siblings. After they're safe from harm's way, Professor Crumbs explains to the siblings that if they all use their powers at the same time, then they can create immense power. Enough power to defeat Gorog and save the rest of their friends. The three go to Gorog, but are presumably influenced by him as they're bribed with their loves. Gorog even brings out the really big guns by bringing Juliet back to Justin. Their compliance is a ruse though, and the three easily take down Gorog, for good this time. The last episode, Who Will Be the Family Wizard, begins with Professor Crumbs arriving at the Russo household and transporting them over to where the Russo siblings will be taking their family wizard competition. Things are going swimmingly, and commencing as planned in the wizard competition when all of a sudden Harper and Zeke teleport onto their game show floor to ask for help regarding Zeke drinking some weird potion and turning completely purple. Unfortunately for both Harper and Zeke, they couldn't have teleported in at a worse time, considering they were making potions involving griffins. Alex's griffin goes absolutely haywire and attacks the two humans, lifting them and flying them away. The Russo siblings decide to take a time out in their wizarding competition in order to go rescue their friends, even with the warning that if they are not back in time for the timeout, they will automatically be kicked out of the wizard competition. Things go wrong during their rescue mission though, and they take much longer than expected. Whenever they make their way back to the game show, they're greeted by an empty room. Professor Crumbs arrives and lets the Russo siblings know that their wizard bloodline ended, and proceeds to take their wands away. Back in their lair, Justin is extremely frustrated with Alex, as if she hadn't convinced them all to go after Harper and Zeke, then they wouldn't be in this mess to begin with. Even with Alex apologizing, and telling her siblings that if they want to blame everything on her, then so be it. But it's obvious.
I need to sit in my comfy chair one more time! Dad, we don't have time!
That their argument is causing a bigger rift than just casual sibling arguments. Their constant bickering gets so bad that Jerry ends up deciding to sell and get rid of his sub shop, claiming that it was supposed to be a family-run business, that he doesn't feel much like a family anymore based on recent events. Justin and Max proceed to continue to blame Alex, even though she didn't really do anything wrong, and a sibling feud begins. Each Russo sibling wants to keep Jerry's dream alive, and they're all convinced that they can run the sub shop better than their siblings. They end up having fun working together, and Alex genuinely apologizes to her siblings after everything that has happened, and they actually make up for the first time. Suddenly, after they put on makeup, they are transported back into the competition. Professor Crumbs tells the siblings that they were just testing their sibling bonds, and the moment that Justin and Max actually forgave Alex, they were put back into the game. The competition ends with Justin making it out before either of his siblings. officially granting him to be the Russo family wizard. Things take a turn though, whenever Justin holds off on the granting of power ceremony as he decides to confess something instead. Apparently, whenever he and Alex were about to finish the competition, Justin got caught in a rut, and Alex actually saved him. Because of this, Justin is deciding to allow Alex the opportunity to be family wizard. Alex is granted family wizard, and because of Justin's smarts and honor, Professor Crumbs allows Justin to keep his powers as well, making him the new headmaster of Wiztech. The episode ends with Jerry passing on the sub shop to Max.
So Alex and Justin get to be wizards, and I get the family substation.
Who is perfectly happy with him as he's almost always content with doing basically nothing at all. And with that, we conclude Wizards of Waverly Place. Thank you all for going on this magical carpet ride with me and experiencing some nostalgia magic. If you like this video, please hit that thumbs up button, and if you want to see more videos like this in the future, go ahead and subscribe. Oh, and go ahead and leave a comment on which of Justin and Alex's partners that you liked best. Thanks so much for watching. See ya!